they're attached to a lifestyle, so they want to be able to go on a particular vacation or buy a particular car. And I think the journey is really thinking about, if I were to be a doctor, if I were to be a trader, what.
Come with me as I attend the PMI Global Summit in Atlanta. This was from October of last year, 2023, and I believe the next one is going to be coming up in September. I decided to drive, you might be wondering, because it's one of my favorite things to do. I love using the time to clear my head, listen to books or podcasts, or even sometimes sit in silence, to be honest. I think I was actually listening to YouTube videos for most of this ride. But anyway, the basis of this channel is to share all things people, project, and program management. So naturally, it made sense to share my experience at the PMI Summit, right? And even though I'm months late, all of this content is still super relevant, and I highly encourage you to leverage the material that I'm about to share with you in your day to day work. That said, let's take a step back. The PMI Summit is probably one of the largest conferences for project, program, and portfolio professionals. There are talks, workshops, and of course, opportunities to network with individuals who do similar work to you, which is usually the most fun part for me and what I was looking forward to the most. The cost to attend was around $18.50, and that number does not include travel, hotel, meals, or anything extra. That $18.50 was the registration fee. It was pretty easy to register and then book the remainder of the trip online with the hotel and travel guidance that was available on the PMI website. And I would highly recommend this conference for anyone who's a manager or a leader in their organization. The next one coming up will be in Los Angeles, and again, that's going to be in September, so there is still some time to think about it and do your research. I'm a huge proponent of professional development and typically always believe that it's worth the investment, not simply for career advancement, but also to keep your mind curious, to boost your confidence when it comes to your work, and to help expand your skill set so that you can be more creative and more innovative in your work. Anyway, sit back and enjoy the scenery as I make my way to Atlanta, Georgia. After a full night's sleep, I was ready for day one of the PMI Global Summit. And this conference was actually, I think, a full 4 days. You can see me getting caffeinated, and I did actually oversleep, so I missed the early morning arrival, but there was still plenty to take in.
Like 41 photos, and they were generous enough to share with us.
There were dozens of these breakout sessions, which were really good overviews of whichever topic they happened to be covering. And surprisingly, you can hear most of the presenters, even with the open floor format. I took a ton of notes everywhere I went, of course, and the longer sessions were obviously also super, super informative. I had to break out of the Congress Center for lunch though because the lines for food were way too long. And I'm also a very antsy person. Also, I like the outdoors. I like to feel the sun on my skin, and a walk a day is really good for my sanity, if you know what I mean. Okay, go, go, go. I ended up at this burrito spot like 4 times during my trip here. God bless them. I was tearing it up, like for real, for real. And listen, there was not enough food. That's my only criticism. The afternoons were really long, if I'm going to be honest, but other than that, I do feel like I definitely got my money's worth. This was one of the better sessions, in my opinion.
It
The
takes
presenter was
the
super
analytics and
engaging,
apply
as you can
all the
hear,
analytics,
but
and
they also
it's taken a
provided
little
us
bit
with
longer. But
practical lessons that we could immediately take away and use once we got back to work.
it's so interesting. Yeah. Let me tell you, this is why OpenAI has 1 year and it's still on beta, right? It's everything you click here, it's on beta. Is the answer helpful? No, finish working? Okay.
You can hear him basically walking us through using Chat GPT, for the analysis and reporting portions of project management, which, if you know anything about those processes, they can be very meticulous and honestly draining exercises to go through. I don't want to talk too much over this portion of the video because what the presenter is explaining is probably more valuable than anything that I could add. Definitely rewatch and take screenshots for the prompts that he's using, and also take screenshots to really see in detail what sort of returns the AI generated here for us.
It happens. But it will, let's be positive. No, but I'm sure sometimes this happens, sometimes you do, and oh, dang. Good. So, for those who thought that ChatGPT is just for text, here's an image. Click with the right click of the mouse, copy and paste wherever you want. Okay? Another one. ChatGPT to do my job. And see, go there and find what I need to do. I press enter. So look, I'm doing the same. I have no idea. And then what happens? One of the critical things of both ChatGPT and all AI is that it needs to explain, and this is what we call explainability of the model, because otherwise you go to your boss and he or she may ask you, what do you do? Why you select? And this is all the explanation that the rationale it's doing to select. So it's using AI PDF to analyze the document. It's already analyzed the document, and it's, I apologize. Yes. Let me, I don't know, I need to see what it did. So yes. Okay. It's a Excel spreadsheet, and this Excel spreadsheet is much bigger. It has 3 folders. So opening the spreadsheet to analyze what the type of data. What is incredible, it's using generative AI to analyze what are the fields. Did you see? Task, table. Look, it's a likely contain information about available resources. So this is generative AI. It's comparing with billions of other data to do that. And now, look, task table. It's analyzing the task table now. And seeing this is all Microsoft project normal data, okay? I didn't do any customization. This is just plain Microsoft project exported to Excel, okay? You can do this with any file. So this, take a look, and this working. okay, based on the data. Look, did you see what it answered to me? It's saying ISM, turno administrativo means normal shift hours, with 3,300. And it's helping you with tips on how to manage this resource that is the most critical. It's giving you specific tips and asking, do you want me to dive deeper on that? What happens? You can
After a day of presentations, the Project Management Institute had a housekeeping session for, the Institute, the PMI itself, which they allowed members to sit in on, which I thought was really cool, to be able to participate on a vote and to meet the new personnel. It was just something that was different and it gave me a little bit of insight and it also piqued my interest. So I'm definitely looking at some local chapters to figure out how I could maybe participate and, join that community where I live and where I work. Now, the housekeeping session was followed by an award ceremony and a really nice cocktail hour, which had a ton of pours d'avours, which made up for, I think, the lack of food during the day, at least in quantity. And it was just dope to see people who were in my space being recognized for their work and their accomplishments. Low key, I was probably nerding out here, and I think I was just glad to be in a room full of like minded people. My first day at the conference was very, very full, and I was so glad to be able to finally break out and get back to my hotel, which was a 10-minute walk across Centennial Park. If you don't know, Centennial Park was actually built for the 1996 Summer Olympics, and it's surrounded by a ton of landmarks and tourist attractions. Anyway, stay tuned for part 2, and thanks again for being here. Bye!